going to be breaking down a simple 3-part formula that's helped my clients go from underbooked to fully booked using social media. And then I'm going to open it up for a live audit. So if you want to go ahead into the chat and put in your social media for your short-term rentals, whether that's Instagram would be ideal. I think that would be the easiest to audit. I'm also happy to take a look at your direct booking site or your Airbnb listing, whatever it is that you want to kind of hone in on, and I can help you audit that. And then I'll open it up for a Q&A at the end. So we can go on to the next slide, Mark, for why visibility matters. So here's the truth. Airbnb is not a marketing plan. And I think we all know that by now. If we only rely on third-party platforms, then like Airbnb or VRBO to fill our calendar, then we're playing a dangerous game. I have seen far too many people have their listings shut down, or they have their listing kind of on hold for a while Airbnb support is figuring something out. And so it's truly not a business plan or a marketing plan to only rely on another platform. And same thing with social media, even. You don't own your social media platforms. So I'm always encouraging my clients and hosts to use social media as a marketing plan to capture emails and to capture people onto their direct booking site. So guests are shopping for experiences. They're scrolling Instagram, they're watching reels, and they're checking out just the vibe of the whole atmosphere that you're creating in your vacation rental. And we can showcase more of our properties and more of that experience through video and through social media versus just showing on a listing. So if they can't find you, or if your content looks untrustworthy or inactive, they're going to move on. So visibility is going to build trust. The more that they get to hear from you and see your property, they're going to end up building that like, know, and trust factor. And so that's why this training really matters. Mark, we can go next slide and next slide. Yeah, there we go.
I can hear you now. I'm in real time, so which is all good.
Oh, good. Perfect. Okay, so this is the overview of the 3-part formula. It's very simple. Part 1, we're going to optimize your profile. Part 2, we're going to create magnetic content and what that really means. And then part 3, we want to drive urgency and trust. So every one is powerful on its own, but when you layer them, that's where the real magic happens. So let's break each one of these down. The next slide. So optimization, what does this actually look like? So when we think about an optimized profile, and I'm specifically thinking about, let's say, Instagram, I think that's an easy one for us to all visualize. We need cohesive branding. We need photos and just the overall tone to look cohesive and well thought out and well planned. That's really going to make people land on your Instagram and think, wow, like this looks like a professional account that really spends time on their marketing efforts. We also want a clear value prop in the bio. So maybe you offer them a freebie, a guide, a checklist, something that is valuable to them. It could even be a discount, or it could be a free night stay. If they book, a certain amount of nights, they get a 4th night free or something like that. And then we can have a link in bio strategy. So whether that is using your link tree, you can use a direct booking site, anything that's pointing them to a link that they can click on and see your vacation rental. So that's precious real estate that we can use. You can think of your Instagram as a complement to your website. It really can drive a lot of traffic to the website and be a great funnel tool for you to use. Okay, next slide.
All right, we're going down.
Yeah, so Instagram checklist. These are little checklists that you can kind of think through. So for your bio, it should clearly state who you are, what makes your stay unique, location, and have a strong call to action like book, direct, and save, or some sort of action to really get them to click on a link, give you their contact information, that type of thing. Your highlights, those are your Instagram highlights. Those are the bubbles underneath your profile. Those are things that there's stories that you can save that are on your feed. And those can support your story. So you can share about yourself as a host, how you got into the vacation rental market, just more about your property and who it's for and why it's unique. Really paint the picture of the experience for them. And these highlights are perfect for you to showcase and lay out your story about you and your property. And then your pinned post, those can be your first 3 posts that you're pinning at the top. So those would go right under the highlights. And those are your first impressions. So these should be your best content. Think of them like your top 3 selling points. And so these can really you can switch them out and make them fresh content, but they need to essentially be the same thing as far as who you are as a host, offering some sort of freebie or discount. You can really showcase your property, same type of thing as your highlights, but you can have a strong call to action in your caption so that you can say like comment book now for 10% off your stay. And then when somebody comments book now, you know exactly who to start reaching out to. So let's talk about Airbnb and website tips. So just a few brief tips here. We want a clean and photo forward layout. Your description should read like a story and not a checklist. All too many times, we love ChatGPT. I think it's a wonderful tool, but sometimes I can read right through the ChatGPT descriptions when it starts to say serene and tranquility and things like that. So I want you to leverage ChatGPT for your description, but then you want to make it your own. You want to have your own voice and your own flair to that description because ultimately we're the hosts that they're staying with and they need to hear from us and our personality and our final touch on it. So make sure to edit those descriptions to incorporate who you are. And same with your social media captions. I want to be able to hear from the host themselves and really get to know the host. You want to have a branded welcome message. So you can have this is very, especially in your direct booking site, you can definitely go all out with your branding. And that's what's so wonderful about it. It's truly your business and your website, your bookings. On Airbnb and other third-party platforms, we have to be more careful about that messaging and just making sure we follow by their rules. And again, that's why it's so important to leverage social media. We get to play by our own rules on there and talk all about who we are as a host and drive traffic to our direct booking site. So that's just another point there. And then you want to have clear call to actions to go on your direct booking site to follow on Instagram, because a lot of times the direct booking site they may land on once, but unless you're running ads, they may not come back to that site. And so if they follow you on Instagram, they're more likely to see you pop up again on their feed and stay in touch with you. So ideally, we want to get their email list so that we can really market to them in a close way. But Instagram is kind of that second way of making sure at least we capture them in some way. And then hopefully we're driving them to sign up for our email list. And then we can get them to book direct with us. So creating magnetic content, what does that mean? And why is content the new currency? Well, let's talk about that content. So in today's world, your content is your marketing. Instead of having billboards, we get to have social media posts that we can do for free. And so it's an amazing tool that I feel like is so underutilized, to where we can post and we can create these amazing videos, sometimes just 5-7 second videos that can go viral and get thousands of people to your direct booking site. So we really need to be using our content as a marketing strategy. And people don't trust those stock images and boring posts anymore. They want personality. They want the real and the raw touches. So they want your story and they want you. Now, I have a lot of people in my students, my clients, that they're afraid to show up online. They don't want to show their face. And what I say to that is it does get easier as you put yourself out there and you just kind of rip the band-aid off and you post your first video where you're talking to the camera. And it does get easier. And I also recommend that you start slow. And the way that you can do this is you can take videos of your property and you can record a voiceover. And so you can talk through the video and explain about your property or who you are as a host without actually having to show your face. You can just talk through it. And it's still going to build a huge amount of trust because they get to hear from you and they get to hear your tone of voice and all of that. So that's just another little pointer that in order to build trust, you do need to show up on social media, but it can look different ways. It can look like a video of you, tidying up something or getting your guest book prepared or your guest package welcome basket delivered. You can have something like that where it's just a video of you setting that up, and then you add audio, music to it, and that's the video. So that's going to build trust. Just these small little ways. So the three content categories that really create this magnetic content for you is storytelling. So this is your why, your journey, what inspired you for this space or how you host, just more about you and that storytelling content. And you can do this through video, you can do this through images of your property with you in it, where they can swipe through and really read about your story. That's great too. And then you can also do guest experience. So testimonials, behind the scenes, messages, anything that you're getting from your guest experiences. I always encourage you to encourage your guests to tell you more about their experience. Ask them specific questions that you really want to know to pull out, not necessarily for a review, but even the messages that they're leaving you. So you can ask them specific questions in the communication that you're having them while they're staying. And then you can screenshot those messages. I would ask permission if that's okay for you to share on your social media. But sometimes that's a great way to pull out more of a real raw review, basically, from your guest. And then also you can encourage guests to share on social media with, something that they loved about the property or them enjoying an amenity. And then they tag you on Instagram and then you get to reshare it. And so it's a win-win for everyone. And then another type of content category would be tips and local recommendations. You want to be the guide. I know a lot of us may not even live in the same area, but hopefully you've been there and you've seen the area, or you can do your research and you can be the guide. So you can think about, best brunch spots, local hikes, packing tips, all of the things that they're going to have these questions and they're going to be searching on Google when they're traveling to come to your property. You can go ahead and get ahead of that and answer those questions beforehand. So I like this little tip that I have too. It's you don't have to dance on camera. You just need to be helpful and real. So the weekly content rotation, you're going to take those three content categories, the storytelling, the guest experience, and then the tips and local recommendations. You're going to take those three categories and just keep them on a simple rotation. That's it. You just post one of those types each week, and then that's 3 posts. So maybe you do 2 reels and 1 carousel post, which is just multiple photos where you can swipe through, and you just rotate those themes, and you'll always have something to stay, and you'll always stay top of mind. So captions that convert. This is what I was kind of referring to about ChatGPT. Like I definitely, encourage using it to help save time, but then you do have to take that extra step to really make it yours and make sure that you're talking like a human and you make it emotional and you teach something and you have a call to action. So let your captions truly tell a story. And instead of book now, try something like want to wake up to this view next weekend, something a little bit more. It's still a call to action, but it helps people envision themselves at your property, and it's not so direct of book now. And I'm not saying you can't ever say that, but I'm just saying let's get creative with different call to actions that are saying the same thing, but in a whole different way.
Emily,
Um,
sorry, I was going to say, would you like some questions at this point?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is amazing, and there's a lot of lovely comments in the chat. So
Yeah.
there's a really good one. So first and foremost, one is from Katie, where she put, "We use Touchstay Guide to be a tourist guide, but I
Yeah.
need to get it on my social media more." So what would be the kind of advice that you would take with that, bearing in mind what you've just spoken about here, some of the real cool things to do, and you don't have to do that many. So how would you say, I've got everything on my Touchstay, or I've got everything on my website? How would I then convert that to being something social media worthy?
Yes, that's a great question. So I would recommend putting that in some type of link tree, which is just a site where you can hold multiple links. And you could do it that way. And then I also encourage you, there's a platform, an app called ManyChat, and you don't even have to use ManyChat, but we can manually do it. So it's the keyword marketing tool that people use, where it's like comment stay to get the link for this listing, and then it automatically sends people, as soon as they comment a keyword, it sends them the link. But if you don't have a huge account, I think it's like $15 a month, but if you don't want to pay that, you can still train your audience the same way and manually respond to them. So you could say comment guide on your stories, like as you're posting stories, comment guide to find out the best restaurants that I recommend. Or, and you can do it in your postings too, to where people will just comment guide. And then as soon as you get that notification, you go in and you respond to them manually and give them your touch stay link. And so I guess my question to that would be, can you provide your touch stay link before they actually book? And that would be my only like feedback for that. But if
Yeah.
if you can, if it can be like non-guest, like they can get it before they actually book, that is how I would pitch it.
Lovely. Yeah, ManyChat, I can personally speak from it. It's an amazing tool. Love love everything about it. Which is great. Another really good question is, what are, and this is from Karen, what are more great questions to ask to increase engagement? So from all the social media posts that you see, that you create, or your clients create, or you see hosts doing, what are some really good questions that normally get people to respond in the chat?
That's great. So I always think of it this way: people love to give their opinion. So if you can create questions or even polls or things like that to have them vote on things, they love sharing what they think. So we can form questions based on that. So if you can say, like, would you rather go for a hike or go for a swim? People are very likely to comment on that and give you their thoughts about it. So that's kind of how I would start forming unique questions. And even just getting that engagement and building a community is so important, because that's going to help you in the long run when you do have a call to action of book now, and really driving traffic to your direct booking. You're building this community where they feel heard and they feel seen.
I like that. Some great questions. Please do keep coming in. And I feel like we're in sync now. I know when we need to do next slide. So I like that. So
Perfect.
on to the next one. Real
Okay.
ideas.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, so some real ideas, and these are just, the short form videos on Instagram. You can do so much with B-roll. So sometimes I'll go to a client of mine's property one time, and I will be able to have 6 months or more of content based on just going in with my iPhone, and I am just walking through the entire property, every single room, outside, inside, just slowly videoing it. And from there, I'm going to have so much B-roll footage to where I can just use tons of different content and create so much from just that one visit. So that's great for those of you that maybe live far away from your property or don't want to block off the calendar or things like that. And then, like I mentioned before, we can do that voiceover. So if you want to do B roll, I would recommend doing it of your entire property, and then also doing small clips of yourself if you're comfortable with that. So you could set up your phone and pretend like making coffee, or just picking up the glass out of off the shelf or something. Just these little action moments that you can do inside your property, where it's showing the kitchen or it's showing the living room, showing the bathroom, whatever area you're able to show. You can have tons of B-roll.
Here's
And
a
then,
quick super question. What
yeah,
is B-roll? That's the question coming in. What is B-roll
yes,
mean?
it's just behind the scenes like footage. So it's not your, it's not A-roll, it's B-roll of basically these clips that it feels like it's unintentional. It feels like it's like the secondary film. And so, what I think about B-roll is truly like behind the scenes. Like you're pretending that the camera is not there and it's getting footage that's just kind of afterthought footage. But it's great because we can create these short form videos from tons of B-roll because you can use this behind the scenes footage and pair trending audio to it. And so anytime that you're seeing reels on while you're browsing Instagram and you see somebody like walking across the room, or they're, getting something out of their cabinet, or they're driving or something like that, and they're not talking, it's just audio like music behind it, that's what you can think of as B-roll.
And there's another question is, what is your app of choice to create these things like voiceovers and putting it all together?
Yeah. Okay, so I do like CapCut, but Instagram is really becoming a lot more savvy with their editing. They want you to edit on the app. The more time we can spend on the app, the better for them. And so I really have been recommending editing inside the app, especially, and this is kind of a little detour, but I think it's helpful to mention to you all. If you have trial reels, that's a new feature right now rolled out to some accounts. And I love using trial reels because I can create a video, a reel on the app, and then I can go ahead and post it to trial reels, and it goes out to non-followers. So it's not posting on my feed, it's not posting to anybody that follows me. It's supposed to be testing out other people that Instagram thinks would like my content. And so you can do a bunch of trial reels at once, and then slowly you can start to say, okay, I'm ready to post that to my feed, and do that one day. And then the next day, post another one to your feed. So it kind of works as a drafts section almost. So I like editing in Instagram because I can edit a few and just go ahead and put them in trial reels, get them having views and having comments even. And then when I put it on my feed, it already has some views going. It already has traction going. And so that's what I've been doing recently.
Nice. I like that. Really. And the
Yeah.
questions, people are getting warmed up now. The questions are firing in. So I do love
Awesome.
it. Keep the questions coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about just driving that urgency and trust. We have to get people off the fence and ready to book. So people don't book when they're unsure and they feel unsafe. And so obviously, I love Boostly's like direct booking sites, and I feel like they immediately look so trustworthy and so professional. And that's really important when you're driving traffic from Instagram to a direct booking. People's guards go up if it feels spammy or weird. So you really have to spend the time and effort to make sure that your direct booking site is really professional and they feel safe to book and give their credit card information and all that. So I would say drive that trust through your social media onto this amazing direct booking site, and that will help so much. And then the urgency, you can do things like there's calendar deadlines and event deadlines to where people can say, remind me when this deal is ending. So you can do discounts and just think about all the big stores that we get emails from. They're always having sales and fun little things, and we can do that with our vacation rentals. And then for using your highlights, so those are those bubbles we talked about earlier. What I recommend is FAQs, reviews, a tour of your property, and then local recommendations. You want to use these highlights as like mini FAQs. And the goal here is to answer as many questions before the guest has to actually ask them. So show off your top reviews, how to's, anything that you can, like use this truly as an FAQ section. And strategic call to actions. So your pinned posts and stories, these should nudge people to book. You really want to have a strong call to action. Try countdown stickers for availability, such as only 2 weekends left. Show your calendar when dates are booked off. When somebody books, show that notification that you received, like, oh, we're so excited to host them, just that FOMO kind of thing. Who wants to view next month? And little call to action stickers like that are really great to create that momentum. And then social proof strategy. So we want to show off our wins, and like I said before, we can message our guests back and forth and kind of show off little conversations you're having if they're saying something really positive. Share your reviews, share returning guests, anything that you can, anything positive that you receive about your vacation rental, share it on social media, and you can even save that to your highlights.
All right. Let's me slide down a little bit more for live mini audits. Now, before we do this, can we all please just jump into the chat, the Zoom chat or the live chat, wherever you are, and just say thank you very much to Emily. Drop all the emojis, all the cool things, all the reactions. There's loads of love heart emojis flying around the screen right now, which is great. So, Emily, fantastic. Okay, so I've gone and pulled a Instagram account. I just scrolled up the chat and I just pinged one for a little mini audit. So the goal with this, and again, if we've got time, we might be able to do two. So if you want to drop your Instagram handle in the chat, please do so now. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to just say, please, text gods, just please be on my side with this one. And then what I will do is then we'll do a little mini audit on this. So please work. I'm going to hit this and I'm going to hit this and I'm going to go to Google Chrome. Now, can everybody see an Instagram account? Please say yes. If you don't see an Instagram account, I'm going to cry. Emily, can you see an Instagram account?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so this was Sharon's account and she popped in Pulmus County. Okay, so I totally chose this at random and I picked somebody out and I just saw the followers and I could see 17,000 followers on this one. So well done, first and foremost. Really, really, really obviously a popular Instagram account. Your guide to exploring, staying, and savoring the best of the Pulmus County. I'm going to hit follow, so you've got one more follower. Visit Pulmus County to be featured on the fun. Okay, so Emily, Pulmus, Pulmas _ county, if anybody else wants to go and check out. Are you good to do a little straight up, a few things that you may have seen they've missed? Or do you need a couple more minutes? Or how?
Yeah,
We're good to
let
go?
me, I'm gonna pull it up on my, just so it's a little bit clearer. 1 second.
Yes. So again, if you want to play along at home, everybody, it's Pulmas _ county, COUNTY. Go and drop them a follow. Okay, and when you're ready for
Cool. Yeah. Okay, I see a lot of great things here. I'm just kind of looking over. It looks to me like there aren't very many reels. It looks like there's a lot of, which is great. Like this means there's a lot of potential for even more engagement and more growth. I think if you utilize reels would be really awesome. I do see a couple, but I see mainly posts.
So here's a quick question then. The way that Instagram is moving in 2025, are you suggesting to people when they are going to create content, they would look to do more video and reels than they would do standalone pictures?
Yes. So I usually do about 80/20. So 80% reels and then 20% carousels. Right now, social media is always changing, but right now that's what we're seeing is the most effective. And then when we do carousels, you can do at least 10 photos. You don't have to use that much, but the more the merrier, because the more photos you're doing, the more times you could potentially be seen to your audience. And so I also love adding audio to those. You can add trending audio to your carousel posts and just to make them a little bit more interesting. But yeah, definitely utilizing reels, it's just going to get a lot more reach to non-followers.
So carousels is an interesting one, and you mentioned it there, and I can see they've got one here that's got 3 pictures, no audio, and no text on it. So from what I heard as well is that carousels is something that they are pushing, and you can add up to, is it 20 images or even more than that
Yes.
now?
Yeah, it depends on it's rolled out to different accounts, so some are stuck at 10 still, and then some can do way more than that.
So, for example, if you have got we've all got property, right? And you want to showcase a new property, instead of just posting one, if you really can't do a reel for whatever reason, take 10 of 20 of your best pictures and just pop them all in with a little bit of description in it to get people to moving forward. Because I guess what Instagram are looking for, and again, at the end of the day, all these social media apps, they want you to create content that will make the user stick around on that app for longer so they can serve up more ads. That's the basics of what they're trying to do. So how do you
Yeah.
create that content and what are they pushing? This could become a pretty cool to look at, which is cool.
Yes. And what's nice about it, like if I were to go to their account and I'm just scrolling social media and I see that first photo in their carousel, that's great, and maybe I don't even swipe through it. But then 3 hours later, if I pick up my phone again and I'm still scrolling, Instagram's gonna show me the second photo of that carousel. So it's showing up in my feed, 10 times potentially. So that's why I recommend just go ahead and add, as many photos as you want that makes sense for the post. But it's just more leverage, more views that way.
I'm gonna just pull up an Instagram account because I was doing a marketing roast this week,
Yeah,
and when you were talking about reels and walkthroughs, this property here, this it's Megan and Matt of Drea Real Estate. This was a
yeah,
really cool use of a reel where they showcased the property, but it got tons of engagement, tons of views, and it's literally just, if you would say, just a walkthrough with just loads of little
yeah,
clips. This summit like this is so simple to create. They definitely use their phone. They've put a little bit of
yep,
text on the front, and this is as simple gets. And I'm sure if Megan or Matt were in here, they were like, "Yeah, this is so easy to do."
yeah,
So
yep.
um,
Yes, that's a great example, and it's just very quick, and that footage that they did to create that video, the walkthrough, I bet they have they've just spliced together and they can do that again for a different type of video.
yeah,
So, yeah, it's important to just have those
okay.
walkthroughs. Yeah.
Let's do another little mini audit. Can everybody who wants an audit, so I don't have to scroll all the way back up, drop in their Instagram handles and I'll just pick one at random. So while we're doing that, Ellie's question is, you mentioned 20% carousels, 80% reels. What about stories, Emily? What's your view on Instagram
Yeah.
stories?
Yeah. So I'll answer that. Just one quick thing about this account that we still have, Mark.
Yeah.
I was gonna mention that I noticed the engagement just off the first 9 um, posts. It seems like the engagement is a little bit low, like there's not many comments. And the way that we can help this is by engaging with our audience. And so you can go like this account, they could go and just interact with their audience members. And it's kind of like this reciprocal thing. If you start to engage with other people, they're far more likely to start to comment on your post and just have that relationship and building that community. So that's what I would recommend too is really get active with your current followers, and anytime
Mhm.
they comment, always respond with a thoughtful comment back.
Um, this is such a good point, and it's something that I have personally learned since working with you. Is the engagement is so key because obviously so many people just want to post and ghost, and they'll only respond back to people when they get a notification saying, "Hey, Emily's commented on your post." But the true magic to social media, especially Instagram, is when you go into like your followers or the people that are already following you or people that you want to be put in front of, like your ideal audience, and go and look at their feed and comment on there and engage on there. And, personally speaking at Boostly, we were stuck on about 12,500 followers for so long. And one of the things I mentioned to Emily and her team, I was like, hey, this is just me purely being egotistical. I love things to be even. I would love to hit that 13,000 mark. And the way that we did it, it wasn't so much, just creating tons more content. It was a case of just slowing down and going engaging with people on the app. And that
Yeah.
we hit that number, which was a large part of what you just said there. So lovely
Mm.
little nugget, that one.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
okay, let me click on, I've just gone here. Hopefully you can
Okay,
all
and
see.
I'll respond
Sorry.
about the stories. I recommend stories being more of that behind the scenes, like not really curated content, but more just in real time even. And so I like to try to keep it active, whether that's Monday through Friday, maybe you post a couple stories each day, or some of my clients, what we'll do just to stay strategic and stay where it's very doable is we'll do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, since they roll off every 24 hours. And that way it almost keeps it pretty much active, but we're only posting 3 times a week.
All right, that is fantastic. And we've clicked on somebody, very random in the chat. It was Eenies or
Nice.
Inies. So this is a really, really, really good one because there's a really good question from Mark saying, how would you move your personal Instagram to your vacation rental Instagram? Or is it better to start fresh and keep your own personal Instagram? And obviously with Eenie, what we've got here is we've got a personal account that is trying to get in front of contractors with a obviously their logo here and then these sort of posts. So I feel
Yeah.
like, Emily, you've got a lot to say here, and I feel like you could get your teeth stuck into an account like
Yeah.
this. So it's
Yeah.
ENIADESIDA if you want to play along at home. Again, Eni, thank you so much. Again, I guarantee I'm butchering your name. I do apologize. But can you just please say thank you to everybody, to Eni in the chat, everybody, for putting a name forward. And again, Emily, go and showcase your skills on this one,
Yeah.
please.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you for submitting this. Let's see here. I think as far as using the personal name versus, full on just a property name, that's really going to depend on you and your goals. You really have to kind of think through what your goal is as far as is it only to achieve bookings for that property, or is it more of you have different avenues, different goals you want to maybe I have some clients where they want to showcase their properties to get bookings, but they also want to grow their portfolio and they're looking for money partners and looking to kind of show their expertise in that way through their properties, but in a way to potential investors. So it really you have to sit with what are your goals and then kind of build out your social media based on that. Um, but I would say if you have a personal Instagram and you do want to share personal things that aren't really host related and you kind of want to do that often, I would try to keep the two separate. But if you're going to show more of your hosting style and all about your hosting journey and things like that, not that you can't show about your family, that's part of who you are too. That's fine, but you have to do it with a lens of kind of those are your goals to share about the property and hosting. Um, so yeah, I think here I would definitely add more highlight bubbles. I like 5 highlight bubbles, not too many where they get lost and they don't click on any of them. But you could really share more about, location and just different FAQs here. It'd be a great opportunity. The logo here, it's hard to see making your stay comfortable. That's a little hard to read in the logo. So I almost think you could zoom in. Well, let's see. Yeah, I think that you could zoom in on more of your logo even and make that a bold statement. And then using AAA stays, using that in your, not your handle, but your name. So the bolded part on your bio, that's where your name would be. It's not the handle, like not the top part, but the underneath. You could do AAA stays there. That's still a very highly searchable area in your bio. So you could do it there and then talking about making your stay comfortable, that type of thing in your bio. And then zoom into the little house on as your logo. Um,
Yeah, I've just checked. AAA
yeah,
Stays is available, Eni. So I think I would
yeah,
even just
yep,
rebrand that handle at the top because again, AAA Stays is going to be a lot more easier to type in and search than Eni Adesida. Again,
yeah,
apologies if I butchered your name. And also as well, your bio here, you've put your link tree twice. So again, there's
yeah,
so much room to work with here on this little bio. And again, when it comes to this bio and this description, Emily, What's the first
Yeah.
bit of advice that you give to people?
So where it says her name at the top of the bio, that's where you kind of want to use searchability things. So I would even say keywords that are really going to find your ideal person. So whether that's um, Bristol, like you could use location, you could kind of move that stuff up where it's the searchable things. I also would definitely spread these things out. Like you've got 5 bedroom home, comma, and Bristol is right there beside it. Like, really make this look more cohesive. Use emojis. You could really make it I would leverage ChatGPT, and tell ChatGPT exactly who your goal is that you're targeting, and help them give ChatGPT a prompt that way, and have them write you a few bio descriptions as examples, and then you kind of pick through those. But those will be a lot more curated and I feel like laid out a little bit better. But yes, the link tree, you only need it on the bottom part, but you also can have a call to action. So where the link tree is, that first one, that should say click here for discounts, and then like a down arrow so that you have that strong call to action. And then I would also use the pinned post like we talked about. So you can add more highlight bubbles, but then the 3 pinned posts, make that really clear on your strong call to actions of who you are and what they need to do, what are their next steps. Um, so yeah, you've got a lot going on here that I feel like could be really improved upon, which is really exciting to always and social media, you're always going to be tweaking. Like even my account, I'm always auditing it and trying to figure out the next thing to make it improvements. And so I encourage you all to audit your account at least once a month. Go through and think, okay, what do I need to, revamp here?
So I loaded in
Yeah.
Eni's website. I loaded in to ChatGPT all of this stuff here, and I said, "Hey, just go ahead and give me a description." And it's come up with hang on a second, it's asking me questions. So it's come up with option one, straight to the point. Contractor stays in Bristol, free
Yeah.
parking, Wi-Fi, 5 beds, discounts, book direct. So things like that. Spatial Bristol stays for your work or play. Free parking, fast Wi-Fi, book direct, and save. Reserve your stay now. So Aini, imagine this right here instead of this right here. Like I say, get
Mhm.
straight to the point and all you can go.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You've got your link to your link tree, which is cool, and you've obviously got link to triple aid property management, which is obviously here, which is all good. But yeah, instantly you got to. Again, it's just like a website. As soon as somebody lands on your Instagram, you've got to tell them who you are, what you do, and how they can buy from you. And really good advice from here. Fill out these highlights, FAQs, all that good stuff. And any advice on the actual posts itself, Emily? What obviously Reels is the way to go, but apart from that, what would you recommend here?
Yeah, I feel like I would clean up a little bit the larger. So, okay, for the carousel post that we've been talking about, what I would do instead of how you're posting all of these little images into one, I would use a carousel and do one big image, and they have to swipe through to see all of these that you're posting. So that's a very small tweak that I think would make the feed look a lot more cohesive. Um, but I love how you're using, one kind of pop of color, and it's very consistent throughout. That looks great. But I would try to think about your feed and mapping that out a little bit better, or just like one image at a time.
Okay, so
Yeah.
here's a question for yourself, Emily. I'm going to put you on the spot because there's
Yeah.
a lot of people asking questions of what should it look like, how does it work? Instead of
Yeah.
like going through that, do you have any examples of any accounts that either you work with or people that you know who we can look at examples and we can just point out what they're doing well? Any ones you want me to go have a look at?
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's see. Let me look that up real quick.
And while we're doing it, so there are a couple of people asking questions saying along the lines of, do you have any AI prompts that you like to use to help come up with ideas or captions or content? So here's something for you, Brittany. While Emily's doing that good stuff in ChatGPT, so I'm in my ChatGPT now, so you can see the screen. Let me move my face out the way a wee bit. So when we're on here, there's something called GPTs. Now, this GPT is a is a specifically trained topic on something. So instead of using a very generic chat GPT, a specific GPT is something that is trained specifically on a topic. And if you were to go in and if you typed in, for example, in GPT's Instagram, and this is free to do, by the way, you will see there are lots and lots and lots and lots of help and advice here. So let's just go Instagram post writer. It's been used 50,000 times. It's got a rating of 4.2 out of 5. You can click start chat. And what you can do is you can utilize that tool within there to help you craft it out. Like Emily said, and I've said many, many times, when it comes to anything AI, you want to go human, robot, human. As in, you start off with you putting your ideas in there. You use the robot to do the majority of the work, and then you put you through it to edit it, read it, and make sure it sounds right. Because the problem with a lot of people, they do copy, paste, post. So they take exactly what AI has given them. They don't read it, they paste it, and then they post it. And the problem with that is that if when we all start doing that, which we all will start doing that at some point in time, we'll all sound like robots and we'll all sound very vanilla. You have to start with the human element, which is you, let the robot do the hard lifting, and then you finish it off. So really, really, really important.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's great.
okay. Any accounts that you want me to go and check
Yes.
out?
So this is one of my clients. I think this is a good example. It's Terra 2, so TERRA, the number 2, vacation rentals.
Okay, so this is a really good example. So if you want examples of, we've gone through and we said everything that we could maybe do better. If you want some examples of how to just go ahead and do it, I'll pop it in the chat in the Zoom. So go and check it out. So what are these particularly doing well?
So we do have a lot of highlight bubbles, and how we've done this one is we've listed out all their properties. They have several, and so we've given each property a highlight bubble. Our bio, I feel like, is very clear of who it is, who it's for. We have Midwest vacation rentals as like the search term, and Terra 2 as a search term. So we know, right off the bat where it's at: Midwest, high end stays, unforgettable getaways, owner operated. That's important to the owners to let them know like who's managing this. It's not a big company. Um, and then I think the cohesiveness in the feed, I feel like that's a good example. We use a lot of similar font color, like colors and font styles, but it still is very interesting. So it's not like just some Pinterest board where it's just kind of too cohesive. It's got a lot of things going on and a lot of interest to where you can click on things and read about different things. Our carousels are packed full of like they're like little mini guides about where to go, and honestly that's another huge factor as well. You can use these carousels to talk about local places and tag those places. They will probably share that post, and then they're sharing it to their audience, so that's a really good feature as well. um, but yeah, I think this is a good example of kind of the work we do and like we strive for, of that cohesive. It looks professional, it looks well thought out, and we always are trying to tell that story as well.
So the company here, Terra 2, are they a management company? So they do the management model, do they?
No, they actually, it's two men that own the company, and they only have their own properties.
Okay, so they've owned. Okay, so they've owned and bought all of these.
Yeah.
Because one of the questions was, um, they are a management company, so a management business. They manage owners' properties, and they've
No.
obviously,
Oh,
yeah. So
yeah.
their sort of question is, if
Okay.
I'm a management company, I obviously want to do my marketing. The marketing's two buckets. One bucket, I want to get in front of homeowners. I want to get in front of property owners, and the other bucket is I want to get direct bookings. I want to get people to book with me. How would
Yeah.
you navigate an Instagram account like that? Would you have two separate ones? Would you have one central one? How would you navigate something like that?
That's a great question. I personally would definitely have just one, and I would make the Instagram all about bookings and for guests, but then it's a walking portfolio for any future owners that want to work with you. They see exactly how their property would fit into what you're already doing. And then you want to definitely show up, and you want to show up your face on camera, talking, build that like, know, and trust. And in your stories and in your highlight bubbles, that's where you'll talk to owners and you'll say, hey, like we have an opening for another property, another owner to come on board. Like we're actively searching in this area to take on and take this stress off of an owner, and really paint the picture of what that looks like and all that you do for the owners. And so, yeah, I recommend having that profile because that's going to act as your portfolio for a future owner, and it will build so much trust knowing their property is going to be marketed that way.
I just want to quickly highlight their Linktree, which I don't know if
Yeah.
you had a hand in this or not, but it's genius. So Linktree, if you don't know, it's a free tool, really cool. You can, instead of just having one link in your Instagram, you can have many. Linktree's one of loads of different tools. I personally use it, and I love what they've done here. So if you look at the top, it says visit our website, and that will take you to their direct booking website. But obviously, they have more than one. So they have quite a few properties. And what they've done here, it says view our properties. And they've got all of them seem to be spread out over a few states. And if you click on that, it will take you to the page on their website where they can book. Now, before I clicked on that link, I was really worried that I was going to go to Airbnb, and I didn't want to highlight that, but it
Yeah.
doesn't. It takes you straight to their direct booking site. So again, this is a fantastic example of what you should be doing when you've got something like Linktree. Specifically, if you have more than one property, you can take people to several spots, which is amazing. Did you have a hand in that, or is that them off their own back?
Yes, we did. And we just took the jump. The owners were on board as well to just not even share Airbnb at all. And so they are listed on there, but all of our social media is to drive traffic to direct bookings.
Love it. Speaking
Yeah.
speaking to my heart right there. So as you can see, it goes straight to it. Pictures look great. I mean, that looks just like an arcade
Yeah.
room. I mean, obviously they've got a bit of money behind them, which obviously helps. But yeah,
Yeah.
really, really, really good examples. And again, you may be thinking, well, it's all right. You know, they've got thousands of followers. No, look, they've got less than 5,000.
Yeah.
They're following just under 2,000. You know, not tons and tons and tons and tons of engagement, but I guarantee
Right.
you, the people that are seeing this are the people that are their ideal customers. It's not all about going viral. It's not about getting the 1 million, 2 million views, the 100,000 views. Sometimes it just takes 100 people to see it, 200 people to see it. And then as long as they click through and book, then fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, Hey, listen, Emily, I really, really appreciate your time today. Can everybody please just say thank you to Emily in the chat? Now, if anybody wants to find out more about your good self, if anybody wants to go and dig in and do more, where do you want people to go? Where's your Instagram, for example? Where
Yes.
can I send people to?
You can send them to Emily Lethgo on Instagram.
All right, so
Yep. Yeah.
EMILYLIT. And has anybody ever said to you, it sounds like let's go, Emily, let's
Oh,
go?
yeah. I get that
Okay.
all the time.
Okay, sorry. I thought I was
No,
going to be the first.
it's
Okay, so Lethgo.
yeah.
It will take you to Emily's Instagram, which is a really good follow. And on the back of there, if anybody wants to book a call, you can go into there and all of that good stuff. So, what do you talk about? Who do you like to help? Who do you like to work with? Like, who's like, give a.
Yeah.
This is your chance to do like a little mini elevator
Okay,
pitch now.
perfect. Yeah, so my Instagram is to help hosts learn how to do social media themselves. I do have the agency side where if you have 3 or more properties and it kind of makes sense for you to start to outsource that work, then we are happy to take that on and take all of that. We do full service. We like to take over and really let you just focus on your business and your hosting, and we handle all the marketing side on social media for you. So yeah, I would say like if you're at 3 properties or more, it's great to start looking at outsourcing if you feel comfortable. And then if you've got 1 or 2 and you're starting, I teach you kind of how to DIY it and do it yourself. And give you tips and strategies on Instagram.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And there's Judy saying thank you. Really, really good content. Matt was just saying it's great. I have no background in social media, literally starting from scratch. Gillian, thank you, Emily. Gur, huge thank you to Emily. Amazing presentation. And again, more people asking, is this being recorded? 100%. I'm going to edit it to take out that annoying bit at the start when obviously my setup wasn't working. If you would like a copy of the checklist, all you have to do is go to boostly.co.uk/Monday checklist. In there, it's got a little tick sheet that you can go through as you are following along, including storytelling, guest experiences, local tips, driving urgency, optimizing your portfolio, your profile, and all that good stuff. Emily, before we go, is there any words of wisdom, any takeaways you want people to leave with today?
Yeah, I would say just try to not get in your head about social media and just try to have fun with it. Sometimes I think we don't post because we're afraid of what people are going to think, or we feel like we can't do it. And it really is so fun if you just let it be fun and let it be a creative outlet, and don't worry about all the results, but just start sharing your story and your journey, and you never know how that's going to land with other people or help other people too.
Amazing. Thank you very, very much. Okay, so we are going to be back tomorrow. Again, this is a brand new concept that I've had with these trainings that we do. It's 3 days, 3 sessions. I put it at a slightly earlier time. I was a little bit wondering what the response would be like, but this is the most attended live session we've done in a long time. So I feel like early morning in the States, which is great, 2 o'clock in the UK, even though it's a bank holiday today and I messed up my dates, we're still rocking it with a lot of people, which is fantastic. Tomorrow, we're going to be back, same time. We're going to be talking about revenue management, which is going to be a total different topic. And then on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about scaling. There's been a few people like any who are saying, hey, I specialize in getting contractors, midterm stays, people that stay for more than 30 days. We are not going to be covering it on these 3 days, but on Wednesday, I'm going to let you know about the next boot camp, which is coming up at the end of June, where we're going to be getting 3 experts talking solely about midterm stays. So that's going to be exciting. If you've enjoyed this, please, please, please tell everybody about it. There's links that you can post. Go ahead and share it to everybody, anybody in Facebook groups, communities, networks, masterminds, friends, anybody that you know who would like this. It's open, it's free for the next 3 days. All we do is we ask you to share, because the reason why we do this, the reason why I bring in these experts like Emily along, is that there is a lot of people out there who are over reliant on Airbnb, Booking.com, Vrbo for their revenue coming in. I've been talking about this for 10 years. And everybody comes back to me and says, well, Mark, I don't know what to do. How do I get started? So this is why I want to put on these sessions, so you can all have a platform and an avenue to get started for free. And you can take all this advice and start to slowly implement it. And even if you haven't got a penny to scratch to your name at the moment because you're starting and scrappy, use this for free now, and then who knows, in future, you'll be able to work with Emily, work with all of our experts that we bring in, and all of that good stuff. So all I ask in return is that you tell people about it, share the news, share the story, invite people into the group. And if you may be thinking, well, Mark, how do I invite people? Well, it's super simple. If you look at the screen now, this is our Facebook group where we've got over 2,000 people in. This will be where the recording is, so you can see it there. There is a little button at the top right that says invite. This is on your phone, this is on your tablets, on your laptops, whatever it may be that you are checking this in. Hit the invite button. It says invite Facebook friends. Just go in there and just go and just invite as many people as you can. Okay? If you do that for me, if we all invite just one person, then that doubles the group from 2,000 to 4,000, which is amazing. With all that being said, have a good night, have a good morning, have a good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And I shall see you tomorrow. Emily, thank you so much.
Thank you.